AITA for not inviting my boyfriend's mom to our baby shower because she told me to lose the baby? Hi Reddit. This is my first time posting here, and I honestly wish I didn't have to. I've been lurking on AITA for years, and I never thought I'd be the one writing a post this long or messy, but here we are. I need to know if I'm overreacting, or if I've finally reached my breaking point. I, 27F, have been with my boyfriend, 30M, Daniel, not his real name, for a little over 3 years. We met through mutual friends, and honestly, it was the healthiest relationship I've ever had at first. He was kind, attentive, respectful, and supportive. I fell hard and he did too. We moved in together after a year, and by year 2 we were seriously discussing marriage and starting a family. It was around the time we got serious that I really started noticing his mom, Judy, had some opinions. The first time I met Judy, she was polite, too polite. You know the type. Tight smile, firm handshake, and eyes that say, "You'll never be good enough for my son." I brushed it off. She didn't say anything overtly rude, but she had this subtle, cutting way of talking, complimenting me in a way that was really a dig. Like, "Oh, you're a teacher? That's so noble." Daniel always said he'd end up with someone who cared more about making a difference than a paycheck. "Your apartment is cute. You've really done a lot with such a tiny space." Daniel told me you're not religious. That's fine, I just think families need a strong moral center, especially with kids. I should have run right then. But Daniel would always smooth things over, laughing it off or saying, "That's just how she is." And to be fair, he did check her in front of me a few times. Once, when she implied I'd let myself go because I gained 5 pounds during a stressful school year, he snapped, "Mom, she's not here for your approval." I appreciated it at the time. But now, looking back, I see that every time she crossed a line, he'd gently nudge her back, only for her to find another way to push it next time. Fast forward to 6 months ago. I found out I was pregnant. It wasn't planned, but it wasn't exactly a disaster either. We had talked about kids someday, and when I showed Daniel the positive test, he froze for a second, then hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. He was all in. We cried, celebrated, and started quietly planning how to tell our families. My family over the moon. Lots of happy tears, hugs, and a comically large baby book from my mom within 48 hours. His family not so much. When we told Judy, her face went completely still. I thought maybe she hadn't heard us right. "I'm pregnant," I repeated, smiling. "We're having a baby." Her expression didn't change. She blinked slowly, then said, "Are you keeping it?" I froze. Daniel laughed awkwardly and said, Yeah, Mom. That's the plan." She looked at me, then back at him. "You're not even married," she said. "I just thought you had higher standards than that." I felt the blood drain from my face. Daniel told her that was out of line, and we ended the visit early. I cried in the car the whole way home. 2 days later, Judy called me while Daniel was at work. I assumed maybe she was going to apologize. She sounded calm, almost cheerful. I still remember the exact words. "I know the news was exciting and all, but I just want you to think this through. A baby will trap you. It will trap Daniel. You're still young, you have time to fix this. You can still lose the baby and focus on your career. You could be so much more than just someone's baby mama." I didn't even know how to respond. I think I muttered, "That's not your decision," and hung up. When I told Daniel that night, he was shocked. He said he'd talk to her, and he did, I know because I heard him yelling on the phone from the other room. He came out furious, said he laid into her, and that she wouldn't bother me again. She didn't for a while. But I never got an apology. Not even a fake one. Just a text a week later saying, "I hope you're well. I didn't mean to upset you. I was just trying to help. You'll understand someday." That was the beginning of a shift in my relationship with Daniel. I started noticing how often he asked me to just let things go with his mom. When she started sending me parenting articles about the importance of 2-parent households, or baby name suggestions that sounded suspiciously like her own name, I'd get upset and he'd say, "She's just trying to be involved," or "It's not worth the fight." When I pushed back, he got quiet. Not angry, just withdrawn. Like it was easier for him to go numb than actually deal with the conflict. 2 months ago, my sister offered to host a baby shower. It would be small, close friends, family, some coworkers. She was so excited. I was excited too. I finally started buying clothes for the baby. We don't know the gender, but I've always liked neutrals anyway. But the minute Judy heard about it, she wanted in. Not just to attend, she wanted to co-host. My sister politely declined, saying she already had things planned. Judy wasn't pleased. She called Daniel crying, saying she felt excluded and disrespected. Then she sent me a passive-aggressive text. I guess some people just want control. That's fine. I'll come and smile and pretend everything's okay. That was it for me. I didn't want her there. I didn't want the woman who told me to lose my baby sitting in a room of people celebrating that baby's life. I didn't want her fake smile in my pictures. I didn't want to spend the whole event wondering what snide comment she'd whisper to someone behind my back. I told Daniel she wasn't invited. He lost it. We've had arguments before, but nothing like this. He said I was being unfair, that his mom deserved to be there, that she was trying to make amends and I was punishing her for a mistake. I said she never apologized. He said she tried. I said, telling someone to lose their child isn't a mistake. It's a boundary you can't uncross. He accused me of trying to cut him off from his family. Asked if he'd feel safe celebrating our child with someone who wanted it gone. He didn't answer. We haven't spoken much in the last few days. I'm still going to the baby shower, obviously. My sister and friends are on my side. My mom is livid that he's defending his mom. But now I'm starting to feel guilty. Judy is the grandmother. Maybe she does deserve to be there. But maybe not. So, Reddit, AITA for not inviting my boyfriend's mom to our baby shower because she told me to lose the baby? Update. It's been 4 days since the baby shower. I should still be glowing, floating on a high from the laughter, the gifts, the games, and the sheer love that was in that room. But I'm not, because the day didn't end with hugs and cake and diaper raffles. It ended with my boyfriend packing a bag and leaving. I won't lie, the baby shower was beautiful. My sister went all out, soft white and sage green decorations, onesie painting stations, and this adorable baby-themed charcuterie board shaped like a rattle. People brought so many gifts that we literally ran out of table space. I saw coworkers tear up while giving me tiny books and blankets. My mom cried when I opened a handmade quilt with my baby's unannounced last name stitched into the corner. But the most notable part of the event was who wasn't there. Judy. And as much as I had been bracing for drama, everything felt lighter without her. No passive-aggressive remarks. No tension. No fake laughs. Just warmth. Support.
Joy.
That lasted until Daniel showed up. I wasn't sure if he was even going to come. We'd been tense all week. Every conversation about his mom became a landmine. The last time we'd spoken in person was 2 nights before the shower. I told him, gently but firmly, that the decision was final. His mom would not be attending.
He didn't yell that time.
He just looked at me with this cold, quiet expression and said, "You're making me choose between my mother and my child's mother. And I'll never forget that." I wanted to say, "No, I'm making you choose between someone who wants our child to exist and someone who didn't." But I was too tired to fight. So when he walked in halfway through the shower, alone, I honestly didn't know what to expect. He hugged me, smiled for a few pictures, and handed me a beautifully wrapped gift, a wooden baby rocker carved by his grandfather. I started crying immediately. It was the first time I'd felt his side of the family in this pregnancy, not just Judy. He sat next to me as I opened presents.
He made jokes.
He helped clean up. For about an hour, I thought, maybe things are turning around. After everyone left and we got home, I went to shower. I was exhausted and so grateful it was over. I heard Daniel pacing in the living room while I washed off the glitter and stress of the day. When I came out in pajamas, he was sitting on the couch, silent, holding his phone. His face was tight. I sat beside him and asked what was wrong. He didn't answer, just handed me his phone and said, "Play voicemail 3. I did. It was Judy. Her voice was syrupy and slow, the kind of fake nice she uses when she's about to say something cutting. I could hear the bitterness under every word. Well, I hope you're both happy. I hope you had a magical little party. I just think it's funny that the woman carrying your child has more say in your life than the woman who gave you life. But that's fine. Enjoy the attention now, sweetie.
It won't last.
Let's see how fun it is when you're up at 3 a.m. and realize you've thrown away the only people who actually care about you.
Click.
I looked at Daniel. When did she leave that? An hour ago, he said. And he shrugged. I don't know. What do you mean? You don't know? That's insane. She's guilt-tripping you, insulting me, us. I know. And you're not going to say anything? He stood up. I already lost one family today. Do you want me to lose the other one too? That made me snap. You didn't lose anything, Daniel. She chose not to come. She chose not to apologize. And now she's blaming me for the consequences of her own behavior.
He just stared at me.
You don't get it. I do get it, I said. I get that you're more worried about making your mom mad than protecting your partner and your child. Silence. Then he said something I didn't expect. Maybe you shouldn't have kept the baby. I felt like I'd been slapped. Not metaphorically, I actually physically recoiled. He immediately backtracked. I didn't mean that. That came out wrong. I stared at him. You didn't say it by accident, I said quietly. You meant it. You just didn't want me to hear it. He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I love this baby, okay? I do. But everything changed so fast. I didn't expect to be a dad this soon. And then you're fighting with my mom, shutting her out. I'm stuck in the middle. You're not stuck, Daniel. You chose to stand there. He didn't answer. He just walked into the bedroom, packed an overnight bag, and left. No goodbye. No, I love you. Just the sound of the door closing behind him. Since then, I've received texts from Judy, his sister, and even his aunt. Some gems. You've made your point. Maybe now it's time to be the bigger person. Daniel's just overwhelmed. Maybe you shouldn't have pushed him. It's not too late to mend things before the baby comes. Grandmas are important. This is what happens when people play house without a ring. His sister even hinted that I owed Judy an apology for alienating the family. My sister wants me to block them all. My mom wants me to lawyer up. A friend even suggested I consider whether I want Daniel on the birth certificate. But I'm just stuck.
I didn't want any of this.
I wanted a happy shower. I wanted a healthy co-parenting relationship, even if Judy was difficult. But now I feel like I'm defending my pregnancy from every direction. I haven't said this yet because it felt too personal, but this isn't my first pregnancy. 3 years ago, before Daniel, I had a miscarriage at 9 weeks. It destroyed me. I barely spoke about it to anyone. Even Daniel only knows the surface-level version. So when I found out I was pregnant this time, it felt like something sacred. Like I was being given a second chance. I was scared, but I was also ready. I swore to myself that I would protect this baby with every fiber of my being. That's why Judy's words, "You can still lose it," didn't feel like advice. They felt like a threat. And Daniel's silence since then? It feels like betrayal. So, AITA still? AITA for not inviting a woman who told me to lose the baby? A woman who's never apologized? Who manipulated my boyfriend into thinking he's the victim? Or am I spiraling now that things have gotten messy? Because I'm starting to wonder if Judy was right about one thing. This won't be fun at 3 a.m., especially if I'm alone. Update. The night Daniel walked out after the baby shower, I thought maybe he just needed space. I told myself, he's overwhelmed. He'll come to his senses. He'll realize what's at stake. But days passed. Then a week. Then 10 days. And while I was buying bottles and assembling cribs and Googling safe sleeping positions in the 3rd trimester, the man who was supposed to be my partner disappeared.
He didn't ask about me.
Or the baby. Or the stress his silence was adding to an already emotionally crushing week. And eventually, something inside me broke in the most unexpected way. I stopped waiting for him. Day 11 after the shower. He walked in without warning. He still had a key. Big mistake. That's fixed now.
He looked tired, hollow-eyed.
I was on the couch with a heating pad on my lower back, flipping through the hospital pre-admission paperwork. Hey, he said, like we were picking up where we left off. I just stared at him. He sat across from me and exhaled. I needed time to think. Must be nice, I said. To get time. He flinched. I didn't want it to go like this.
Yeah.
That makes two of us. There was a long silence. Then he leaned forward. I want to come back. I sat very still. And do what, exactly? I asked. Be around when it's convenient? Pretend your mother didn't verbally assault me, and then you walked out like I was the problem? I know I messed up, he said quickly. I know I should have defended you. I should have handled things differently. You should have stayed, I said coldly. But you didn't. You left. And in doing that, you made a choice, a loud one. His face tightened. So that's it? You're done with me? I was done the night you left, I said. This is just the part where I make it official. He swallowed. What do you mean? I talked to a lawyer, I said. I'm not putting your name on the birth certificate. You'll need to go through court if you want any parental rights. I'm not playing house with someone who runs the second things get hard. His mouth fell open. You're being extreme. No, I interrupted. I'm being smart. I let you have space. Now I'm claiming mine. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he'd expected the same scared, pregnant woman clinging to the hope he might do the right thing. But she was gone now, replaced by someone who had no choice but to grow a spine.
He didn't yell.
Didn't beg. Just stood and said, I made the biggest mistake of my life walking out on you. And I know that. I'll fix it. I shook my head. You can't fix this. You can only decide what you do next. And I'll decide what I allow. He paused at the door and looked back. I'm sorry, he said finally. For everything. I thought I could keep peace between you and my mom. I thought I could stay neutral. But I was wrong. You needed me to be on your side, and I failed you. I didn't respond. Because an apology is just noise when it's not backed by change. 2 days later, Judy tried to call me again. I declined. She left a voicemail saying she hoped I was ready to raise a baby without a real family. So I sent it directly to Daniel. No commentary. No emojis. Just the audio file and a one-line message. This is who you're protecting. No response for an hour. Then suddenly another message. I just told her she's not welcome near the baby unless she apologizes to you directly and sincerely. I told her I'm choosing you now. Not her. Not anyone else. Another message followed. I know I may never get your trust back, but I'm not going to stop showing up for you, even if it's from the sidelines. I didn't reply, not because I was playing games, but because I didn't know how to feel. There was a part of me that wanted to believe him, that wanted to cry and tell him it was okay, that wanted to go back to being us. But the other part, the wiser part, knew better. The next day, we met at a neutral location, a quiet coffee shop. He sat across from me, holding a folder of paperwork. Without a word, he slid it over. A notarized declaration of voluntary paternity. I know you're not putting me on the certificate, he said. I'm not fighting you. But I want you to have this. So, if you ever change your mind, the paperwork's done. You don't have to trust me today. I'll earn it back. And your mother? I asked.
He sighed. She's livid.
She said I'm abandoning her for some woman. I told her if she wanted to be a grandmother, she needed to stop acting like a child. And until she apologizes to you in front of me, she's not meeting the baby. That stunned me. It sounded too good to be true. Do you mean that? I asked. I do. And you didn't tell her to apologize just so you'd get access? No, he said quietly. I told her because you deserve it. And because she was wrong. It wasn't everything, but it was a start. We're not back together. Not even close. I've made it clear that I'm parenting solo for now. He can be involved with doctor's visits, the birth if I allow it, and future decisions. But emotionally, I've shut the door for now. I need time.
Space. Proof.
He can want to be a better man, but I need to see him be one. Not for a week. Not for a post. but consistently. Over months.
Years.
And even then, trust, once shattered, doesn't regrow in the same place.